both of these teams are absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, I'm a big fan of what Dress to KO have put together for their look. I'm sure we'll flash them up on screen here in a minute, but they are decked out. Suits, sunglasses, tie. They are here for business, and I'm excited to see what they put up. It looks like we have our draft here, though. What do you think of this?
It's interesting because the awakenings are a bit difficult, right? It's Twin Drive and Primetime, both two really strong cooldown awakenings. So I feel like it comes down to kind of preference in characters and preference what people are being wanting to play for, wanting to prioritize, right? Because if you have more abilities, if you have more play area with all of these abilities, you have just so much more influence across the game. And if you look across all the characters that have been picked, you have actually the entirety of Frostfire, so lower accurate, against something that seems a bit more damage oriented on the side of Suit.
Yeah, I'm interested. The Vice Luna Drek. I'm guessing that this is reset on the signature Drakkar pick, which probably puts Psykeen on Luna, which is very unconventional. This is like a double midfield Luna brawler type angle. So yeah, it's a significantly more unconventional comp, but we're going to see lots of unconventional things from Shut In. I was watching them scrim last night, and I'm hoping we get to see more of this team later in the bracket because they have so many wacky off-meta strategies.
And that's a good thing about bracket as well today, because of how the format ends up, you only have one or a maximum two best of ones to play, which means a lot more best of three gameplay. And I personally just always enjoy that because it offers a lot more opportunities to show different kind of plans and different kind of play styles.
Well, and the teams get to size each other up, right?
Yes, most definitely. You don't just like lose a game maybe off of an unfortunate start. Like if you have a Deadeye start into a KO heavy team, it might be a bit tough.
Yeah.
But that's all future tournament stuff because we're now going into the first game, as we do see the side of NEET with the full Frostfire build-up.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I got the team switched around. Okay. Wow. But it is okay. So this is Luna goalie for AJ, and then Snowball's running the Drakkar brawler. Okay, not what I expected, but this also makes sense with the characters these guys are playing. Just one barrier taken so far. What are we looking at for starting gear picks? Anything interesting?
It matches up pretty nicely, I'd say. You have Twin Drive on everyone that has like pretty heavy commitment into their secondary, and Primetime obviously also being very valid pickup, especially if we're looking at someone like the Estelle for Reset, right? Primetime's just such a great awakening for this Estelle to be working with. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Had a little bit of
Get away from the speaker!
a little bit of cursed land mic feedback. We're desperately trying to remove Brickbat from the speaker area. But we're in overtime now, so this core is moving quite fast. And we're still having two barriers up on the side of NEET, whereas no for Dress Kill, and they will be the first to lose that point, one going over to NEET.
Yeah, it's a long and drawn-out point, though, right? Like, it took quite a bit. We went into overtime already, and if that is kind of the vibe that we're going for in this entire series, it might be, or an entire game, it might be a bit of a longer one. And again, like, the more cooldowns, they don't really help with that, because more opportunities means more interruptions, means more difficult times to actually get something through. As of right now, though, Snowball's fighting for his own life, because that HP bar is not looking great, and being a bit too greedy with the flip here could be what punishes you, and does have to pop it in the end to stay alive.
It does stay alive, though, and actually goes and pumps a bit of damage onto Reset. Unfortunately timed Black Hole will mean that he gets taken off the board shortly thereafter. Quick power play here for the side of NEET. AJ boosting in. Ether has the flip. Psykeen still holding on to his as well. Will use it to find the KO here. The power play continues, but both of these teams still have one barrier to go. Nice save there by AJ and Snowball.
Yeah, as of right now, I feel like the side of NEET, they just have a bit more of a solid comp early on. They have a very clear game plan, right? Frostfire, very simple characters. You're trying to play for piercing shots, you're trying to play for dash punches, and just get goals that way. And with AJ Cannon being on a Luna, which is a really good goalie overall, still will struggle with something like just that pure force that comes out of a team comp like Frostfire. And you can see that as it stands right now. Still, the point hasn't been found just yet, but they're looking in a really good position, and unfortunately the dash does not connect. And now this gives NEET a 2-0 lead in this first set.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, though. Yeah, certainly in this early game, we're not going to see dressed to KO see nearly as much success. I'm expecting them to scale significantly more as the game goes on, but we are starting to see them actually pump out this damage. And of course, between the Vice and the Luna ult, these evade bars are draining fast for NEET. So as these guys get stronger and stronger, they're definitely going to be a scary team. And they're actually getting barriers this point.
Yeah, but they still need to find the goal beyond it because Beelzebub on the Dubu obviously has a lot of defensive utility, but it doesn't really matter if you're strong defensively if you're in a 2v3 because Saikeen's fighting for its life right now. Almost a KO found by Reset though, really good counter. But the point advantage so far, or the positional advantage, still very much in favor of Suit. As they don't get a double barrier, Saikeen with a crucial punch gets taken out for it, but I feel like you're still pretty happy with it. So Reset trying to fight for their life right now, as the attack is going to be built. Beelzebub holding on, Reset almost getting it out, but no, in the end the goal is found, and Suit finds himself the first point for this game.
Yeah, well played by them, and they go in with kind of exactly the energy bars that you want to see, both forwards on the side of NEET, pretty low in the evade department, and that Luna nuke as well as the Vice Supernova will be coming back soon, and they find a KO right off the bat. That is the Drakkar kill combo, taking Saikeen off the board. Another power play coming out for Suit, and it seems like their game plan is unfolding quite nicely in the back part of this set.
Yeah, they have to kind of find their ways of how they want to be approaching the game, how they want to actually play out their team comp, and they're finding their way into it. The evade comes out from the set, but now again, both forwards are no evades, but a beautiful dash punch from Saikeen will give them the power play. 3v2 situation now. Can they actually get the goal with it as well, though? No, as of right now, Snowball and Ether are doing a really good job holding on. A nice interrupt from the set Vice coming out there as well. And that gives AJ enough time to come back onto the map. We're back into a 3v3.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful there. Defense from Snowball and Ether. Especially because those are, like, Vice and Drakkar, pretty low mobility characters, all things concerned. So they did a fantastic job positioning there, setting up for that reverse power play. Beelzebub does still have a barrier here to work with, but his teammates are dropping fast. Ether and Snowball will find the barrier in the 2v1, but it's the piercing shot from Reset to finish off the set.
Yeah, a really tough angle that AJ would have had to find there in between the piercing shot and the dash punch that's coming in from the bottom. And NEET's kind of showing why they do have the higher seed. They're coming into this. They got a first set, and we do have a few high-value awakenings to be choosing from here. The Deadeye, I can't imagine, falls down to the Luna, because it would just be scary. But even then, Luna gets specialized training, so either way, this Luna's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, certainly Estelle's not upset about grabbing Deadeye at all, though. Pretty good pickup on her. Stagger picked up early by this Dubu. Some size for Snowball. Knife's Edge. Okay, I want you to talk to me about this Knife's Edge pick. It's been very controversial in the last patch. How do you think this feels? Julie is one of the better ones to be having it, but how do you think it sizes up in this match?
In this match specifically, it's a bit difficult to tell. I think as a whole, Knife's Edge still holds its place in the meta, but I don't think it's really ever a priority pick for anyone anymore. It does hold a lot of value if you can get it to work. But the range down, essentially, of it just makes it really difficult to use. Even in that situation before, right? Saikeen landed the dash punch, but the hit just was a bit too early. Knife's Edge didn't actually proc, and he couldn't find the K off of it. So I feel like if you have an enemy team that is going to be playing around the edge on Aiden, Aiden has taken a barrier with that. But back on topic, if you go up against a team that's going to be playing around the edges of the map a lot, yes, it can have its value, but you're still going to be searching for it quite extensively, especially because you're going into a Vice that doesn't really play around the edges a lot, Luna neither. Maybe you can get Snowball on Drek because he might try to do the same thing with Edge Chaos.
Yeah, certainly. I'll be interested to see if they're able to get a good amount of value out of it. Nice push there by Snowball and Ether through the Tofu Fortress, and then just a few too many strikes for Reset and Beelzebub to take care of. That's first point headed over to Suit.
Yeah, first point and maybe a momentum shift for them as well, but as of right now, they got a decent amount of damage in the last.
Oh, another one.
He's just so good at finding these dash punch KOs. It almost feels like Suit's not really able to answer them properly because I stopped counting. Is this like the third or the fourth one, and we're still only in the second set? Like, he's just being a menace around that edge. And even though obviously I just kind of down-talked a little bit on Knife's Edge, I mean, it seems to work. And a beautiful piercing shot from Reset will confirm this goal to even it out as it stands right now. So NEET's definitely not giving up at this point.
Yeah, I have to say, I think we're seeing some twin drive value. Even though this Julie only has Knife's Edge to contribute to damage, it's a lot harder to track the dash punch cooldown with that twin drive because the dash is the bottleneck on that cooldown, right? So Saikeen having 2 charges of that secondary means that Suit have to play really, really careful around Saikeen when he's angling for these dash punches.
Yeah, most definitely, especially because they don't really have a good defense against it. Like, they don't have a lockdown goalie that can put down a wall. They don't have an Amy that can maybe glitch pop it away earlier. You only have projectiles that go in a straight line. And with that, it's a bit more difficult to deal against something like the Julie. So Sakeen's pick here definitely coming in to play and getting the results that they were looking for.
Yeah. Oh, a nice try there by AJ to dash in, but Beelzebub is ready for it. Ether drops the Supernova here, but Reset and Beelzebub perfectly received to handle that. Snowball and Ether now without no evade.
No.
But 2 flips burned. It goes by.
Absolute beautiful play coming through there. Initially, I thought the barrier was gone, and then it started to not hit it. And I was like, oh, well, it's still likely gonna go. But no, I was wrong all the time. It was Beelzebub that's just gonna get a KO off of it. And off of that play, they got a second barrier. They're now in a really good position to actually continue playing on, because Snowball's also down to stagger. Gets taken up by Sakeen. This has to be like the 5th KO of him by now. Just being such a menace up front. They want to try to get the core up, but in the end, they do actually get it around. AJ and Ether both not able to reach it in time.
Yeah, wow, what a point. They keep the barrier up on the side of NEET. And yeah, like you said, I mean, the dash punches are non-stop. Reset and Beelzebub are doing a fantastic job holding it down on the defense, and then Sakeen is able to just do Julie things on the other side of the map. I also find it interesting that, like, Ether keeps really struggling to keep the stagger and the evade bar up in any sort of relevant position. We were saying that, you know, Suit is playing the more KO-oriented comp, but we're still seeing a lot of damage come out from Frostfire, played by NEET. And that's another set for them.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like the Deadeye on the Estelle is helping a lot in that regard as well, because Estelle does have decent damage numbers. Amplify that with damage with the Deadeye, it gets even worse. And it's also very difficult for Ether to play, because he's on Vice, he's very immobile. So every single time he gets hit by something, he has to evade or just take it. He doesn't really have that liberty that other characters might have, where they can just jump away. But we do go into another draft. We get more damage with the missile prop for the Estelle, but Glass Cannon being a fine pickup for AJ here as well.
This is such a high-value draft for the side of NEET. They get to deny the missile prop from the Luna and the Drakkar. They get to deny, well, the heavy impact will fall to the Drakkar, because they know that Julie's going to pick that up if the Drakkar doesn't grab it. But Julie still gets ad rush here, and with all these dash punches that Sakeen has been finding, if that value keeps coming out, ad rush is only going to make it even more deadly. So I think this is NEET snowballing quite effectively into set 3. And unless this momentum stops, this game might be over pretty soon. It's going to take some pretty strong plays from Suit to pull this one back.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like the other difficult part is as well, I'd argue Sakeen might even prefer Adrenaline Rush, because you can even get the snowball harder. And they've been finding KOs to have even more damage now. And if that in and of itself isn't enough, the team come from Suit, they still like to play KO. They still would want to try to do that. Well, Beelzebub's just not really going to be a target anymore, because there's a Stagger Swagger on the Dubu now. Which is going to help quite a bit with, you know, being able to get around these abilities, especially because a lot of it is just skill shots. But again, beautiful passing play and attacking by Sakeen here. I didn't even know he had a brawler, if I'm being honest, and right now he's kind of dismantling the defense from Suit.
Yeah, that was a very, very clean dribble into the perfect thread the needle shot there. And yeah, that's a 1-point lead for them. So the hopes for Suit are only getting further and further away right now. They need to really get the energy economy going in their favor. I think that probably just targeting Sakeen is going to be the best game plan. If they can keep Sakeen from healing, which they're doing a really good job of doing right now, they can maybe shut down a lot of the threat that this Julie has been able to provide consistently over the course of this game.
Yeah, most definitely. It's just a bit of a balance that needs to be found, because you also don't want to be using every single ability on them. And then, again, even though Sakeen doesn't have any evades or any HP to be working with, still finds the punch there to secure the barrier. Now, an open goal situation on the side of Suit, as they cannot get past the defense Beelzebub, and the dash does not connect. Sakeen able to cherry-pick that goal in the end, and this puts NEET just 1 goal away from taking this entire game.
Yeah, now on match point. And we're also seeing now the XP difference that has unfolded over the course of this game. All 3 members of NEET on level 8, whereas AJ is the closest one to level 8, almost there on the side of Suit, but both Snowball and Ether are still on level 6. So this has been a game that has been thoroughly run by NEET, but we're seeing a wonderful play here. The double flip into shotgun on the goal line will be the strongest burst of momentum that Suit has been able to put up in quite some time.
Yeah, it's really good to get yourself into momentum again like this. The downside is you invested a lot to go 1 and 2, right? You still need
Yes.
2 more goals before the side of NEET gets a third for themselves. So obviously would love to get more energy, but then again, if you don't use those flips and you don't get the goal, you might just lose on the spot. So sometimes you just have to do it and go play with that momentum that he found. As barrier does drop up top there from Snowball, and they're trying to get the second one as well. But Reset and Beelzebub just doing such a good job defensively there, and a beautiful dash by Sakin interrupts a clear by AJ.
Yeah, lovely. Snowball is getting quite a few breakaways at this point, though. A nice rocket actually breaks the dash punch there. Sakin just out of range to make that one work, and AJ responding to it perfectly. Means that this Julie doesn't have... Okay, there's the twin drive again. Twin drive value. Well, comes in. Sakin now on the goal line. This could be the final point here, Sloth. Oh, there it goes.
The offensive positioning by Beelzebub together with a strike shot was enough to put it in. And NEET get themselves a game 1 victory and a series victory, right? We're starting off with best of ones, and winning a best of 1 means you're making it into top 24. So NEET confirmed themselves in top 24 already, which I'm sure they're very happy about.
Yeah, a fantastic start. And let's take a look at this stat screen. I'm curious what it ended up shaking out as. The damage numbers are actually lower than I was expecting them to be for the quantity of KOing that was happening. It seemed like with all of the cooldowns that both these teams had with this Twin Drive Primetime start, no one was ever healing, really, ever. So it was kind of whoever was landing their abilities was getting KOs because they were able to consistently prevent the enemy healing from coming through. So it didn't take a lot of damage to make those KOs happen. But both teams did find a substantial number, looking at 6 for Suit, 7 on the side of NEET. 4 of those were those beautiful dash punches that we kept pointing out from Sakin. Anything else on this stat screen that stands out to you here, Sloth?
I just want to point out the brawler mindset by Sakin. 4 KOs, 64 redirects. That's my guy. That's my guy right there. 21 shots, least shots on his team as well. Sakin had a job and he executed excellently on it, which I very much do love. But I feel like across the board, as we said as well, it feels like NEET was just a bit more put together in the way that they're playing the game.
Yeah.
And whereas I do really like the idea of Suits comp, they just had a bit more difficulty executing upon it. Which, I mean, hey, their tournament run's not done yet. They're just going to have to go through the loser side now to find their way into the top 24.
Yes, and I would not be surprised at all if we get to see them there later on in the tournament. Are we moving to a break right now? Are we? Okay, yeah. So we're moving to a quick break, and then we'll be back with even more of Reach the Summit.